Good evening, Somers, and welcome to the Somers Town Board regular meeting of Thursday, June 10th, 2021. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the
to the
flag
flag of
of
the
the
United States
of America
and to the
and
republic
for
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and be seated. Patty, roll call.
Councilman William G. Faulkner,
Here.
Councilman Richard G. Clinchy,
Present.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirico,
right here.
Councilman Thomas A. Garrity Jr.,
Here.
Supervisor Rick Morrissey.
Present. Thank you, Patty. So our first item on our agenda this evening is a public hearing on a proposed local law to amend the code of the town of Somers to add chapter 124 to opt out of allowing retail dispensaries and on-site consumption sites as authorized under New York State Cannabis Law, Article 4. I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And Patty, can I have publishing and posting?
Yes, that was published in the Somers Record on May 27th and posted on the town clerk's bulletin board.
Thank you very much. Okay. So are there any comments from the board before we open it up to the public?
I'll wait to hear from the public.
Yeah, we've discussed this.
Okay, so, well, I thought maybe, Roland, maybe you can just tell us the process. We are having our public hearing this evening. We'll get the public's input and then make a decision either to opt out or to continue or to drop this. But what are some of the next steps?
You're muted, Roland.
There you go.
As you know, when the state legalized cannabis, they permitted local municipalities to have an opt-out provision, which has to be exercised by the end of the year. And when you back up the dates of the process that we have to go through, you pretty nearly get to a final adoption date of no later than July 19th. That allows for the permissive referendum period. If any group wants to file a petition, they have, in this instance, 45 days to do so. And then by the time you have to then schedule a referendum, it can't be less than 60 days. So with all of that, it takes you right to the November 2nd election date.
Mhm.
Anything beyond a July 19th adoption of the law requires you to have a special election after the general election and before the end of the year. You always have the option of opting back in, but you will not have the option again of opting out.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That's it's very helpful. All right, so when we open the public hearing to the public, is there anyone out there for public comment on, public comment on our public hearing on the proposed local law?
I have nobody. I have no text.
Paul, anybody?
I let a few people into the meeting. Can you can you please state that again, Supervisor, so they can hear what you said about the public comments?
Okay, so we're now open to public comment on the proposed law to amend the chapter 124 to opt out of allowing retail dispensaries and
I have
on-site
nobody.
consumption sites under the New York State Cannabis Law, Article 4.
Hey, I'm just going to ask people when you come into the meeting, please mute your phones because we always hear people in the background. So if you're in, just mute your phone.
But,
Actually,
Right.
the only one who came in, I think, was for an item.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have anybody else as of now.
okay.
I have no texts.
Nobody's
Joyce-
asking any questions.
Joyce. There was somebody there, they just muted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Sorry, Rick.
Yeah. no, I was
I-
gonna
what I was
say,
gonna say- What I was going to say, Rick, was I was waiting to see if there was any public comment. I've seen some comments out there in social media and such. I'm in favor of opting out. Always have been. I'm of the generation where it's been drilled into me that marijuana is a gateway drug and leads on to other things. I'm just right now, as it starts, I'm interested in opting out of it. Tony really said it best. And Tony, I mean, I shouldn't speak with Tony, but
Go ahead. Oh,
but- this, in my opinion, this was, passed by the state, obviously as a moneymaker. When you are a revenue driver, when you look at, and this is, Tony, I'll let you say it actually, because you say it better than I do, but.
Well, I mean, I think it's proposed as a revenue driver, but when you look in proportion to what's going on, it's relatively small. They're talking for about $350 million of incremental tax revenue, sales tax revenue, when this thing is up and going. I mean, that's about 2% of the total sales tax collection today of about 17 billion. The overall budget is a $200 billion budget. That's, $300 million is a rounding error from that perspective. So, they may be chasing incremental money, but it's not of any, of great, significance. I think, for this, we're opting out of the retail portion of this. This does not preclude manufacturing, agricultural, or any other aspects can happen in Somers. Marijuana is legal, so that means that they can grow up to 5 plants, personally. You'll be able to smoke it like you would tobacco in that type of a setting. I think there's a lot of things that are unknown at this point in terms of, how we're going to have to adjust our policies and practices, because what once was a legal substance now is legal. And when it comes to, personnel practices and such, I think that needs to be, modified. So that'll all be figured out as we go. From Somers's point of view, it's not a windfall. And I think from a quality of life, I don't see that as being, having dispensaries in town really, is in the direction that we want to head. If you talk to, education, you talk to, the medical community, if you talk to the PTA locally, in Westchester and even in New York State, you talk to law enforcement, they're in opposition of this. So this really complicates the whole practice. The promise is that, some of this revenue that's collected is going to come back and help remediate the problem. But, that's almost like a unfunded mandate, because the issues that are going to happen are going to occur that I think are going to be more costly and more complicated. And as I think Rich has said, it's a mixed message. So
And
that's,
also,
I would
Tony,
just,
one of the things I think we've probably seen too is people are saying, are we turning down, tax money for the town?
Millions of dollars,
Yeah,
That's-
and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but many years ago, the way I understood it was it's not a dollar for dollar just because the business is in Somers. It's collected and then dispersed by the county.
well, in this
So-
setting, they're creating a separate tax distribution process where it's going to be allocated based on the proportion of sales that a local retail dispensary would have. But when you go through the numbers, you're going to get like, the number is 3%, right? So if you know, I'm seeing numbers like, because in the papers, they were talking about, Great Barrington and,
Right.
the town is making $3 million.
Different tax structure.
revenue. It's a different tax structure. Under this convention, to get the $3 million, you would have to have a $120 to $150 million business. You're not going to get to that level. You're just not going to get to that level. So,
Well, I think look, our track record as far as vaping and this newly passed law regarding dispensaries. Look, we prohibited vape shops in the town of Somers for a lot of the same reasons. Most of us, if not all, are opposed to these dispensaries. We don't want places where people are going to congregate and, smoke marijuana. It's like, something that it is a quality of life issue in my view. And I do believe that I've had a lot of experience growing up with, people who smoked marijuana, tried cocaine, tried heroin, and now are no longer with us. So no one's going to convince me that, marijuana is not the beginning, opening the door to trying or experimenting with other drugs. And look, as Roland clearly pointed out, this is our one and only chance to opt out of having dispensaries and places where you can smoke marijuana in the town. And if for whatever reason we see things changing in the county, in the state, or neighboring towns in the future, we can always come back and talk about it. But yeah, I am adamantly opposed to allowing dispensaries and on-site consumption vehicles. And that's my opinion.
I mean, I would say
I agree with you. And I think Anthony said before, I think it is a difficult message that you send to kids, and having worked in high schools for 40 years, and you don't want to see that. And I said at one other meeting, I can remember kids who just kind of faded out as they got into pot, and it was sad, and I've never forgotten it. And all of Upper Westchester is opting out. I don't think it would be wise for us to be the one that's in and become a destination to buy this. Some people say it's a social justice issue, that it's not the crime that it was perceived to be in early on, 70s, 80s, 90s, thousands. Maybe so. I don't know, but that's why I would like to wait and see. And that's a good point that Rick and Roland bring up. We have one time to opt out. We have a lot of time to opt in if we see that, oh, wait, it hasn't caused a problem. It isn't an issue on the roads. It's not becoming a quality of life issue. So, maybe we should. Now, I'd have to see all that evidence myself to vote for it, because I don't think we should do it. And there are those who say, look, hey, cigarettes kill more, don't they? Yeah, I don't think people should smoke cigarettes, but we can't do anything about that. We don't have an opt-out on cigarettes, or we don't have an opt-out on alcohol, but we do have a chance on this one. That's why we've all said several times that we're not always unanimous on every issue, but we have been on this issue for all the reasons that have been given. So that's my vote too.
I would also add that on the social justice aspect of this, marijuana is decriminalized. So you really accomplished the majority part of the social justice impacts of this substance and being put in jail.
Yeah, having possession of marijuana, right?
This is a business. This is about gaining customers. I mean, they're gonna have businesses come in and they're gonna grow their customer base. It's the tobacco model, right?
It is.
So, this puts this in another category, and that's why generally I'm opposed to the entire legislation. But that horse is out of the barn. So, it's legal. We're going to have the substance used in the town. Where it's acquired outside the town, they'll be legally allowed in the town. What we're opposing here is having dispensaries and retail dispensaries in the town. So,
But remember, it is the same prohibitions to tobacco smoking will apply to marijuana. Smoking is smoking. And, there's the secondhand smoke from tobacco we want to protect people from, and there is a secondhand smoke from marijuana. And so there will be rules. It's not like you could just do it wherever you want. Some people, I know you're talking about money before. Some people are talking about, well, look at Great Barrington, look at all the money they get from that. Well, one, it is a different case with different circumstances, but those who, might be, maybe they're right, or they're more cynical, or at least they just want to see, when the lottery came in New York State, it was all that money. So it's legalized gambling. All that money is going to go to the schools. Well, and I've been to Albany. I think I mentioned this once before, where I spoke clearly about this. Like, where is all that lottery money? Well, the lottery money did go into go back to the schools, but they decreased the money then from the general budget. So the actual increase wasn't that much to the school. So it wasn't the windfall for schools, make better education, all that. In this, it's a logical question. If you're going to put money into drug rehab or all the things that may result from marijuana use, will you then reduce it on the other hand? So that, from the general budget. So therefore, is there actually going to be an increase in services? I think those are things that everyone is wise to watch out and see what actually happens. So another reason to opt out now.
Right.
The programming and licensing of all this is not without expense. I mean, it's going to be managed as a controlled substance. The state is going to put in a whole new infrastructure to, regulate this. So not all that sales tax revenue is going to come down to all the things that you think it might. It's going to support, the infrastructure that's going to have to be in place. Anyway, so.
One thing really bothers me. You have members of the state legislature and even the United States Congress who have voted on this and pushed for it, who invested in the product when it wasn't legal, seeing an opportunity for themselves to make money going forward. There's nothing illegal about that, but it just doesn't seem right to me.
If it was stocks, it would be insider trading.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, those stocks do trade. And, federally, from the banking system, from a federal point of view, the interstate banking of all this is still illegal. So, I mean, it becomes a cash business. I mean, banks don't want to touch this stuff.
Right. Well, we are talking about, the financial impacts and things like that. But they're studying and looking into the experience of other states, California, Colorado. It also has stressed the police forces, EMS, hospitals, emergency rooms. All those numbers have gone up after legalization of marijuana. So look, that's a little off topic. It's been passed in New York. We're going to see what our experience is going to be. But, as far as, for the town of Somers, we as a board have always acted in the best interest of the town, what we believe to be the best interest of the town, guided by public hearings like this. I've heard we have a Partners in Prevention organization. I think they're on a webinar tonight, matter of fact, regarding.
They are.
But look, we can't put aside the fact that, we're in a drug crisis right now. I mean, I get calls about overdoses, deaths and people that are revived with Narcan, once a month, twice a month. So it's pretty hard for me to justify, when I already stated, I think, smoking marijuana could lead or does lead to more experimentation. that, you can't ignore what's going on in our community. Maybe other communities aren't experiencing the drug crisis. I don't believe it, but, and maybe they're going to opt into this. But I'm going to go back to my original statement by saying, this is our only opportunity to opt out. Let's opt out and see where this new legalization takes us.
Excellent.
Tom, anybody on the phone?
Nope.
Good.
Paul, anyone on public comment on the public hearing?
We did have somebody join. Are you here for that reason? If you are, please identify yourself.
No, I think that's Jennifer Daddio. She sent me a text also. She said she was in the meeting. If anybody had questions about the library, I told her there was no agenda item on it, but
Yeah, maybe we'll get to that at public comment.
So Roland, how does this work? So we would adopt this at some point, maybe in July, or do we leave?
No.
have to
Oh,
adopt
we
it.
could adopt it tonight.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we would adopt it tonight.
I think you have an EAF that Dave Smith prepared. So you would adopt a neg deck and then you could adopt the local law, subject to permissive referendum.
Okay.
And Roland, just so you stated again, they have 45 days from the day we adopt it, like tonight, or 45 days from when?
45 days from the date you adopt it, provided you publish the notice of adoption within 10 days.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So therefore, the published date for this notice will be next Thursday. Will be the published date.
That's fine.
Because we have to wait a week?
No,
Because it's Somer's record.
yeah, but that's
Oh,
fine.
all right, I got you.
As long as it's within 10 days, you're fine.
Okay.
So,
All right. If there is no further
I have nobody
comment
else.
from the public,
Nope.
nor the town board, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
second,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Roland, you're gonna have to walk me through this. So I'll make a motion to declare,
So to adopt the neg deck,
I make a motion to adopt the neg declaration.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
and now a motion to adopt the local law.
Okay, and I further move to make a motion to adopt the local law to add chapter 124 to the town of Somers code,
Subject to permissive referendum.
subject to permissive referendum.
all right, second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Aye.
So
So
roll
moved.
call needed?
No, all
No?
together, right? All five of them?
Okay, thank you. I think this is important legislation.
And I think it should be said, it's not just Somers. There's a lot of towns that are doing the same thing, adopting the same law, so it's consistent.
But, Richard, we really don't follow what other towns do. We really believe.
No, for those who may have thought that as a result of this, we're the only town. We're
Yeah,
not.
I really don't know of other towns that have told me they're opting out, but we will see. They need to do it by July, so we'll see who joins us. Okay, I'm going to make a motion to open public comment.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. So moved. So Mark, if you were out there, I know you have a comment you want to make? Paul, you can let.
Oh, he was in, wasn't that the 6-4 whatever number?
646.
You have a video or are we on,
Mark, if you're talking, Mark, you're muted.
Yeah, he is muted.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute him, guys.
There you go.
Okay, I'm unmuted.
You are.
And you're live.
Yeah.
And we started on time.
Hi. Yes, this is Mark Capel, 41 Route 16, Route 116. I'd like,
Mark, you got to
That's
lower
me.
your YouTube feed in the background. I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir.
oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I'm going to lower the YouTube. That's okay, that's gone. I would like to say hello to Supervisor Morrissey, honorable board members. I know you just passed the referendum. I've been watching. Am I allowed to comment, or is that done?
You can,
Your comments, public comment.
yeah, you can comment. I guess.
Comment?
Yes.
Sure.
Hey,
Okay, I will make this brief, and I have another comment also on a different subject. I am not a marijuana user. I just don't like what it's done to me in terms of feeling. I just feel lightheaded, so I'm not saying this for me. Marijuana is basically harmless. It does not lead to heroin. It's not a gateway drug. That is alcohol. I just looked up a statistic on the internet. This is the Partnership Against Drug Use. So obviously they are for it. It says 86% of 12 to 17-year-olds, as New York State students said they used marijuana last year. I am not promoting it at all. It's legal. I don't expect us to make a lot of money from it. And you use the word dispensary. That's for medical. This would be a store that sells it. I've heard of people who've gone to Colorado, which is sort of fun experience. Adults only, obviously, only adults. I certainly would never want any children involved with that. The problem is because I know we're talking about our town, if we don't have a store, everyone is going to go to the nearest town. I don't know what that'll be, but that's where they're going to be. And if they don't go there, from what I understand, because of the regulations, legalized marijuana becomes more expensive. People will buy it then as they do now. We know everybody uses it. I say everybody. No, people use it. They're going to buy it illegally, and that's when you get the adulteration with fentanyl and other things. No one has ever died of marijuana overdose. That's heroin, especially heroin laced with fentanyl. That's why this is legalized. So I am open to work with people on getting a referendum and seeing how people really do feel. I don't have strong feelings. I think we should, because I don't like the idea of people going to other places. And yes, not the money. That's hardly anything.
Right.
Anyway, thank you
All right, well-
for letting me make that comment. The
Yeah,
other
thank you
thing
for
is
your
I
comment.
would like to tell you and the town that since this is June, this is Pride Month for lesbians, gays, bisexual, or the other groups. I was surprised to find out how many Westchester towns, even up here, Lewisboro, Pound Bridge, Katona, are having celebrations. Yorktown is having a rally on Saturday. And I think it would be nice if the town did something to acknowledge that. It doesn't mean that you're taking a political stance at all. You're acknowledging that a group exists. I noticed I think it's called Racial Amity Rally in Reese Park coming up soon. Have you
Race
seen that
amity,
in the
yes,
record?
that's on
Yeah,
Sunday, Mark.
that's basically right. That's basically what this is saying. We're including lesbian, gay, etc. people in our inclusion in the town. And then just one very brief comment about why this started. Homosexuality used to be illegal. Gay bars were illegal. You could be, and we're talking now about before 1960, well, before the 70s. You could be arrested just for being there. How did they even exist? They were run by organized crime who paid off the police. Regardless, the police raided the Stonewall Inn, which is a monument now in the West Village, started arresting people for doing nothing, just being there. And for one of the first times in human history, people said, wait a minute, we're not going to go. We're not doing anything wrong. Fought against the police in terms of throwing rocks and bottles, and nobody really got hurt. It was a real protest. That's all. It was not a battle. And the police stopped, and that's why it is celebrated the last Sunday in June, because that's when it was in 1969. So Pride Month is June. New York City's having a virtual parade this year, which will be on Channel 7. So it's a big deal now worldwide. I imagine that people from Westchester, maybe Somers, some of them may have been there in 1969, but it's a nice gesture that a lot of places around the United States have been doing now every June. And thank you for letting me speak, all of you.
Thanks, Mark.
Welcome.
Thanks for your participation, Mark.
Mark, what is that gesture you're talking about? I'm not sure I caught that. Well,
Hey, he's
Like
gone.
a, like a
He
celebration.
hung right up.
oh, okay. Yeah.
So I think what Mark was relating to was like Race Amity is doing, it's Race
Yeah.
Amity Day is June 13th, this Sunday. And Susan Cody, the local chapter head, is having a celebration in Reese Park. But the message back to Mark is, it's not the town that organizes these type of celebrations. Our job is Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day. The community, this is a welcoming community. And, as a town board, we want to recognize the month as LBGT Pride Month. So we have never or have not been the sponsor of a celebration. But I can assure Mark that Sunday, I'm sure that Pride Month will be recognized. I can talk to Susan to make sure that is part of the discussion on Sunday at that celebration.
Yeah, you want to recognize that, fine. It's a tremendously quick change in attitudes on this issue. You don't go back, you don't even go back to the 70s to find people that, let's say, on gay marriage, who said that that's not something I'm ever going to be supportive of. Yet I remember when I said to someone who's gay, said, well, I don't get the marriage thing. Why don't you, can you call it something different? And I was educated, like, well, I said, I'm all for equal, but why marriage? And if it's not marriage, it's not equal, just plain in terms of legal rights of the spouse. So right there, I go, okay, that convinced me. And people's attitudes have changed, and I think that's a good thing. And who's against equal protection, equal opportunity on the law? Nobody should be against that. That's America.
Well,
Mark, Mark's back on, and Mark, you
Oh,
got
is
to
Mark
turn down your YouTube again.
Yeah,
You're
it is.
hearing it in the background. I think you're better now.
Yeah, it's really weird with the time lag.
Yeah. Well, you like to
That's
listen,
why we
right?
tell you to turn it down.
Yeah.
It gets
Yeah.
confusing.
You
So,
need
Mark, you have a
changing
further
too.
comment?
Did you call back in because Rich had a question for you?
Yes, I'm back on.
All right.
Mark,
So
Shut
Mark,
your YouTube
Go to
off.
YouTube.
Yeah, just turn the YouTube off.
How do I hear the question then?
You'll hear it through the phone.
Heard it through us.
Oh, okay. Okay.
okay,
There you
so-
go.
Rich,
Zoom
what
it
was your
off.
question?
So Richard had a question saying, you referenced celebration. What did you mean by?
Yeah, you mentioned a gesture. I just didn't catch what you were talking about there.
Okay. In terms of, you mentioned celebration. Celebration is, as I believe you just mentioned, because I'm listening to two things and the time lag is there, of, as you said, the change from this being illegal to legalized marriage. I have been married even before it was legal in Connecticut. I was in such a hurry, New York, I was in such a hurry, I went to Connecticut as soon as New York accepted it. So that was 2010. And in terms of the recognition, What a lot of places do is just say something like a proclamation that we recognize this is Pride Month. It would be like Black History Month, Women's History Month, that kind of thing. Some places, including the State Department, fly pride flags outside the embassy. There's a whole thing you can do. Generally, as you said, Brick, the towns do not organize celebrations like a parade. New York City does not organize that. That's a separate organization. But usually people say, that whatever the town is, recognize that this is Pride Month.
Well, hopefully, Mark, we're doing that now. And as I mentioned, I don't know if you've heard, Race Amity Day is on Sunday, and
Right.
we'll be there. And we'll be sure to mention this to Susan Cody, who's the organizer of that event.
Great. That is terrific. Thank you.
I mean, as a board, we support all terms of inclusivity. And, this is no place for hate. And that's our position. And, I think that's our school's position. I think our institutions, have all the mechanisms to, handle things that may, go awry. But, people have to speak up. I always tell people if they feel unduly acted upon, they need to speak up. And, we will do what, we're supposed to do.
Well, Mark, we really appreciate you bringing it to our attention and sending us the email.
Okay. And I thank all of you.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.
Yeah, thanks
Okay.
for participating tonight, Mark. It's appreciated.
Thanks,
Oh,
Mark.
I'm not going to leave. I'm going to watch the rest of the meeting.
All right.
Good. We need more viewership. We're trying to get our ratings up.
Right.
But to hang up the phone if you're going to watch, you're either going to listen
Yes,
or
I
watch.
will.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else out there for public comment? Once again, public comment is residents' opportunity to bring any issue to the board that is not already on the agenda. So if there's anybody out there, Tom, anyone for public comment?
Nope.
Paul?
Nobody on my side either as of yet.
Okay. So as has been our policy during COVID, we'll keep public comment open and we'll close it at the end of the meeting. So, which brings us to department reports. Patty?
I have reports from the town clerk, building inspector, zoning board of appeals, plumbing, Bureau of Fire Prevention, Parks and Recreation, planning and engineering, and tax receiver and director of finance.
Thank you. Okay, which brings us to the town board. I'm going to start off with some good news tonight. Little segue to Patty's last report from the director of finance. The end of last week and this week, we had meetings regarding going out for a bond for $3 million with Moody's. And as I'm sure you're all aware, our current rating is was AA1, but myself and Bob Kehoe, finance director, put up quite a justification why we should be AA. And to our pleasure, AAA, yes, AAA. We were notified, and a press release was put up by Moody's that Somers is now a AAA municipality. So thanks really goes out to this town board for putting together, 8 years of very tight budgets. Thanks goes to our finance director for keeping our numbers in line, putting us in this position. So we will now get the best possible rates that are out there. So good job to all of you. Thank you. While I'm on a positive note, we got a notification from Sustainable Westchester I'll read the letter. Sustainable Westchester is pleased to provide the enclosed contribution to support sustainability initiatives by the town of Somers. This contribution is related to residents' participation in the community solar campaign. Specifically, we are pleased to provide $50 for every town of Somers resident that participated in Sustainable Westchester's community solar program as described below. So the contribution from Sustainable Westchester is $1,450. That reflects 29 residents' enrollment between the period October 2nd, 2020 to November 30th, 2020. So this is the solar buying into the farms, solar farms. The town actually did this as well. It's an automatic 10% savings. So this is also still open to the public, and you can go to our website or contact Sustainable Westchester to get yourself into the program. So good news.
Yeah, it's really easy to do, and you save money on your utility bill, and the town gets $50. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to sign up. It's not hard at all, and you don't have like you just said, Rick. There's no panels on your roof. It doesn't matter whether the sun ever hits your house. It doesn't go out in your yard. These are solar farms upstate who produce the power. And when you switch over, their power created there goes into the grid, so to speak. You get a credit for that. What comes into your house is still the same power that came in before. So it just reduces the overall consumption of power created by carbon fuels in New York State and changes it to solar. And that's good for everybody.
Right.
So yeah, it's easy and everybody benefits. Win-win.
So if you're a member of the Community Choice Aggregation Program, where you've had a fixed rate for the last 12 months, plus enrollment in Sustainable Westchester with another 10% reduction, you're getting the lowest electricity rates for our area. Okay. Town of Somers COVID update. I'm happy to report we have no new cases in the town of Somers as of today. That does not mean this is going away. In New York State, 463 new cases were identified overnight. Over the last week, 9 New York State residents lost their lives to COVID. On a county level, 19 individuals were diagnosed with COVID-19 overnight. And over the last week, we lost 2 individuals to COVID. Once again, on a local level, we have no new cases. We have 4 active in our community, and we hope them a speedy recovery. And that really brings our total cumulative case count to 2,085 people have been diagnosed with COVID-19 in the town of Somers. So folks, really congratulations to everyone who abided by the regulations. No one likes to be told what to do. Businesses are now opening up. If you are vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask while you're in the community. If you're unvaccinated, you come into a public space like the townhouse, you are to wear a mask. If you're vaccinated, that's not required. Okay. Next is number 2 on the agenda is Bailey Park proposed project presentation by the Parks and Rec Board. So I see Kevin and I see Steve out there. You have the floor, gentlemen.
Thank you. Excuse me. Supervisor Morrissey and the board, thanks very much for allowing Steve and I to present a project that's been important to us for the last several years. The trigger of this project was the Somers Comprehensive Plan update. When that came out, we looked at the Parks Master Plan, which was from 2004, and we realized that it needed to be updated. There were properties that were now under the Parks and Rec Authority that weren't included, and other proposals included that weren't really viable or relevant anymore. So in October of 2017 at a meeting, we recognized that the Parks Department did a great job maintaining the properties, but we discussed what can we do to elevate, to improve the properties, to make things better. And the way we approached it was we had the board members each volunteer to take a park, and each board member, they volunteered, they would go to the site, they reviewed the master plan, they considered ways to improve it, and presented it to the Parks Board, where the parks would discuss the options and advantages of improving the site and agree on a priority of the different properties. And in March of 2018, Jim Boniella, who unfortunately can't be here tonight, presented Bailey Park. And a couple of notable advantages. It's the center of town. It's underused. And it's small and manageable, where we could make changes and have a noticeable improvement without throwing millions of dollars into it. Essentially, for the price of a play set that was put in Reese Park, we could transform Bailey Park from an underused area into a magnet, a place where people can have the civic town ceremonies. It could be scouts and clubs can meet there. The shoppers and residents, which are increasing, could eat there. And summer concerts can return there. They were there previously. In discussing it, it really only had one negative, and that was the parking. But we thought that was something that we could work around. There is parking available at the CVS parking lot, in the Elephant Hotel after hours, and across the street in the shopping. So while it's not ideal, it still is workable. And we should only have a problem that so many people want to use the park that it becomes an issue. So we decided as a board that this would be the first project that we would look to improve. Our goal was to make it both nice to look at and utilitarian. We wanted to have places to people to stay just for lunch, and also an area where you could have meetings and events. And so for the last several years, it's came up several times, and our two park liaisons for the board, Tom Garrity and Richard Clinchy, attended. They were very helpful in providing us input and guidance. And we made many changes over the years, but it was always the same approach. And if I can I share my screen to show you where we are?
Your camera's not on though, Kevin, so are we going to be able to see it?
The host turned off my camera.
So Paul, see if you can allow Kevin to share screen.
And put his camera on? Paul, you there?
Whoop, you stepped away.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. I was away for a second. I apologize.
Turn Kevin's camera on and let him share the screen, please.
Yes, sir. Stand by. All right, Kev, you should be all set.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Oh, gosh, maybe we should shut it off.
Mine off.
You're live,
Kevin.
Kevin. Fireworks in my backyard.
Be kind.
Oh, gosh, who's that behind you? That's your children, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Over his shoulder, left and right.
left and right. Yeah.
Okay. How are we doing now?
Perfect.
Good.
Thanks,
He's
Kevin.
there.
All good, all good.
Uh-oh. And you're looking at the okay, here we go. Good. So this is what the consensus is and that we want to do. one of the things I didn't mention was that the other advantage of having Bailey Park, they had the renovated, it's really a super gazebo with electricity. And so that remains there. And here is a general seating area, about 3,500 square feet of unilock. And there's going to be 3 other, that we call them family areas, where we envision having bistro tables for people that want to come by and have lunch, or just sit and enjoy the day. Something I want to note here, it says remove trees. There's 2 trees that are going to be removed. They are not going to be removed because of the project. They're being removed because an arborist says that they are damaged and they're likely to pose a danger in the near future. So this is just the time to do it if there's going to be work there as it is.
All right. Well, thanks for that clarification, Kevin, because the last thing I want to see is more trees missing from Bailey Park. But if damage, we've had a problem there.
It's already a concern because we know that we're putting in unilock in what's now, it's not nice, but it's still dirt and grass. And so we are concerned. And many of our changes were to reduce the size of both the general area and the family areas. We want to make them usable, but we didn't want them to overwhelm the park. And I guess it's subject possibly to further modification, but this is where we landed. And you can see behind the seating area, there's a garden. It's a garden of perennials, shrubs, hardwood mulch. And what it's intended to do is to provide seasonal color, beauty, and also a boundary and a separation from Route 100 and the area if there's events going on. And there's almost like a natural bowl there. So it's good for speaking and talking. It's a natural sound barrier. We have a path from the corner here, Route 202, into the seating area. We recognize that people will cut the corners. So this is essentially it. We have the gazebo, the general area, the shrubs, and the path and the family areas. And it's could be used by an individual who just wants to have lunch, by families that or people that are shopping either across Route 100 or working at the Elephant Hotel or living at the new development. But it's also a magnet. It's something that the town can use. You have the 9/11 ceremony there. It'll certainly make that nicer, but it'll also be really limited only by our own creativity and resourcefulness to how we use it. And again, the amount, it's probably going to be less than we paid for the playset at Reeves Park. So for the cost of a playset, we will transform the park into a patch of grass and dirt with a gazebo into something that people can actually use and enjoy, and hopefully be a symbol of the town. I don't know if Steve Ralston wants to add anything.
I don't know that I can say it any better, Kevin.
Thank you.
So Kevin,
I mean, it's been like a 3-year, as you said, a long process that the board has refined and refined and refined and finally felt appropriate to bring it to the town board for comment, discussion, referral.
One thing to add, we were very pleased because this was presented in a truncated form earlier when the town gave us authority to retain a landscape architect to do this. So you've given at least preliminary approval for us to go forward on the project. Now this is the final approval, and it wasn't easy. We went through a couple of different landscape architects. We ended up with the although it needs to go out to bid, but the people that worked it was Landscape Concepts, which is very familiar with the town, and they've done work at the Elephant Hotel, and they've been supportive of us.
gentlemen, just a question, when I'm looking at the rendition, it looks like, is the staircase essentially on that corner where, that portion where that's facing essentially the, I guess, is that seating or just that's just the
can you see my
blocks?
cursor?
Yes. Is that
I believe that's where it is. I
Move it to the, right there, Kevin.
It's right there. It's right
Right
there.
there.
there?
Tony, those are just mock chairs to either side of the gazebo, like what they simulated in the middle portion?
Yeah, actually, so I originally, I wanted to move it there and have everything out this way, and Emil almost murdered me when I suggested
I was
that.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
my
yeah, no,
thought
it's,
is that,
the
you know,
seating area is fans
Yeah.
out from the opening.
so my thought is as you make presentations, you're gonna make presentations out over the stairs. I mean, I think, just a
Yeah,
thought.
I don't,
Right, the orientation of the gazebo was not always there
Yeah,
where Kevin's cursor is. It might have been to one of the other sides. So when they refurbished the gazebo, they did center the stairs, which is a great idea, which opened up this concept. Very
but,
nice.
but I think if you have bands up there, or if Rick is speaking up there and we have a podium like we have in the past, you put the podium right in the middle of where the stairs are so you could see it. I don't think speaking out over the stairs is an issue.
It's a wide staircase.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do
That's fair.
want to say, I've been involved in many of these meetings. And I think they've done a fantastic job. They've worked on this for 3 years. There were some delays, obviously, COVID slowed a lot of stuff down. But the entire board, again, it was Jim Boniello at first, but the entire Parks Board really got on board with it. Talked about it, thought about it. At one point, Kevin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think you said this already, some of the unilocks were even larger. I actually went out with Kevin and a couple others and looked at it, and we said, we had somebody go out and actually, I think Jim did, spray painted it out. We said, yeah, no, that's too big. That's too
Yeah.
big. And so we went back and they made it smaller. So they've worked very hard on this. Years ago, we used to have, when we still do, I guess just not last year, we had you used to have the Halloween parades that would start in the CVS Plaza and would end up there and, give some awards out and things like that. I think this just makes it a much more usable park to me, for local concerts. It's nice when we do them over at Reese Park, but the stage there, you're sitting out in the beaten sun. Here you have a little bit more shade from the big trees and all that. So I want to commend you on what you've done. Like I said, I sat in on many of the meetings and I know how seriously you all took it. So
And-
very good job.
Yeah, plus
And
it's the
thanks
center
very
of
much,
town.
Tom.
It's the
And like
center
in
of
Reese
town.
Park for
that?
the concerts, you have 25 people who look sad when in the big expanse. This it will hold, it can accommodate a big crowd, but a smaller crowd won't get lost in it.
Just makes it more intimate.
Yeah.
What do you think the seating could be there, Kevin? What's the thoughts?
Well, we're not gonna have, it's 3,500 square feet.
So, but you put, so if there was like, you put folding chairs out there or you do something like
Yeah,
that,
you bring beach chairs.
beach chairs, yeah.
Yeah.
For scope, Tony, Mary Ann put in, each one of those little squares kind of represents the surface area for a
For a
chair.
seat, okay.
Yeah,
That's
the squares on top of the
So,
15 or so.
I have a couple of comments. I can attest to the fact that we are now witnessing pedestrian traffic in the hub of our town. So every day I watch people walk from the townhouse over to the shopping center. I see them walk down 202 towards Taste and Bobo's. And many people, sit on the benches outside the townhouse. This would be a welcoming venue for people to congregate. Hey, I'll meet you for lunch at the gazebo at Bailey Park. I really like the idea of setting up a music venue. I don't know if many of you have been down through Katona, but on any weekend evening, there's a band right downtown by the train station in their little gazebo. Now, I don't know if these bands are there, they're invited to voluntarily play or whether they're being paid. But I would like Steve and Kevin, you guys look into what if we can get, local young people who want to take their band out for a test run, set something up where they would have access. Their friends and families could come, and then anyone that's driving by. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I just pull over in Katona when I see a band and listen to them.
Rick, I think that's a great idea. It's exactly what I was thinking of. Not that example when I said you're limited only by your creativity and ambition. It's a great idea. There's a lot of things that we'll be able to do with that we would never do with Bailey Park in its current state.
But Kevin, let me add this though, is that you and I and Steve have discussed, this is sort of part of a broader plan, as Anthony said, it's the center of town, of a plan to make it what I know some people have talked about this for years. I talked with Jim Boniello about this 10 years ago, about a plan to, I don't know, make it more town-like that makes it a destination. And, you and I have talked about this in terms of Bailey Park. It's a destination, as Rick says, people for lunch, people walking around. It makes the town better. It's a better town service. It helps property values for sure. And I think it helps sell houses. So, all those are real good things. I would like to, I talked to the town planner last time we had him on, I guess last month, about what he thought about sort of designing the center of town. What could he do about that in terms of a creative project, which we had discussed with Surratt before she left. So I would like to also get his input on this and how he could integrate this to any plans that he might have, as he's been in town now for about a month or two. How would he see this integrated to have somewhat of a vision as we go forward? Obviously not all at once, but I would like the conversation that I've had with the Parks Board, Mr. Boniello, Kevin, Steve. I think that if we think of it as part of even a larger project, then it makes even more sense, even though it makes perfect sense on its own to me right now.
Richard, I completely agree with the first part of what you're saying, and I should have stressed that up front. We do want it to be a destination and to make it more like a real town, town center. But I'm a little concerned about making. I know how things get killed when there's a grander ambition.
No, we're not going to kill it. Oh,
you end up with a pool complex. So that would be my only concern.
No, we're not
baby steps.
No, I think it's a great concept. I mean, you speak to people, we live where, Kevin, we're on this side of town. I mean, people love the idea of go to New Yorktown and they have concerts at the gazebo at the Yorktown field. And, residents come up to me and say, why can't we do something like that? I mean, this is very timely and just kind of fits in with that.
Okay, so we have a very important milestone coming up September 11th of this year. Do you know what the time frame for this would be, gentlemen?
We had hoped this September, but it's not. I don't think it's going to happen. Steve?
Yeah, as you know, I mean, we have the general cost estimates. We have to put it in the bid specifications, get all your approvals through the bid process, and then do the installation. So
yeah, okay. Well, a better way to put that then is, what are your timeframes? When do you think it'll be completed? Next spring, probably realistically?
I think realistically, because it was originally the fall, right, Kevin? And
yes,
the upcoming meetings are combined meetings. So as you know, it depends what the permissions are.
Mhm.
As soon as we can get it approved to go to bid, then I think we can move quickly with a bid document and then proceed. I was by the landscape architect. It was actually suggested a late fall is the best time to do it, because when they put all the plantings in, they want to do them dormant. So in the spring they come back.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good. Good job, guys.
Right.
So
Yeah,
do you need anything from us, or you'll just go out and put it into a bid package and send it out?
Well, we need
Yeah, I think they're waiting for town board approval to
To do the bid?
move ahead.
That's
Yes.
what we need, yeah.
So does someone want to make a motion?
Yeah, I move that we go ahead with the project as described to us. I'm not sure about the monies because there is some that they said we have to build in a contingency fund on there. So I don't know if we put a limit on that or not. But yeah, I make.
So what does a swing set cost?
Swing was 153. The number we got now, I think was like 142.
Yeah.
before bid.
Yeah,
And she mentions a contingency. I just don't know how much that is.
We don't either, you know, the contingency with the escalated building costs, we had a member of the park board do some due diligence, and the original number that I had discussed with Rick came down significantly when he looked at the costs, but when we go into this with all the building material prices or what they're concerned with, and we've also had the discussion about where we, the town, may be able to also reduce the cost with our own labor.
right, right. So,
You know,
right,
if we can buy the fence and put in the fence ourselves, we won't bid that portion of the project. If we can do things on state contract and be able to do some of the labor, that's what we're gonna look to do to make it less than the 142. And then if there's contingency, but at the moment, until we actually bid it, Richard, we can't really.
Yeah, okay.
Is there an opportunity to maybe have the community, maybe the community may even want to contribute? You know, it doesn't have to
Buy a
really.
brick.
I mean, from a legal point of view, I mean, you would have to say, Roland, but I mean, we get the project started, this is what it is. But, participation of community and plaques and,
They did that up at the football field at the high school. You bought a brick.
You bought a brick or something like that,
That's how we built the dog park.
Right.
It was fully community funded, and then we had the bricks, and Roland can explain it, but he put a separate account that could only be used for the project. He can explain it better than I.
But this is going to be a showcase.
Restricted account.
Excuse
So
me? Yeah.
it was just a restricted account in the name of the town of Somers, and it could only be used for a particular project.
Okay.
So you could do that here. You could also use subdivision fees if you have those.
right, rec fees.
Rec fees.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's gonna be used,
Okay.
isn't it?
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
plan, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we have a motion and some discussion. I would just add that since this is in the heart of the historic district, and you also got 2 barrels from AMO already. But also I'm going to suggest a referral to the Architectural Review Board for their input and review. So I know we're early on in the project, but I guess what we can understand is it's about $142,000 with contingency, but it's going out to bid, and let's see what the bids come back at. But I think we have a motion to approve the project. I for one am in favor of it as well.
I'm in
Is there a
favor
second?
of it.
Second.
Whatever.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Very good.
Thank you.
Very nice presentation, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thanks,
Great work.
Steve.
Good job, good work.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looks
awesome.
it's gonna look great.
Hope so.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is acknowledge the thank you letter from the American Jewish community, West Fairfield, for our important statement regarding anti-Semitism. So we received a letter. We signed on to say no to anti-Semitism. And I'll just read the first paragraph of the letter. Dear Supervisor Morrissey, thank you for saying no to anti-Semitism in your town by signing the Mayor's United Against Anti-Semitism statement. This vital initiative of American Jewish Committee and the United States Conference of Mayors seeks to mobilize and engage mayors throughout the country on this important issue. So once again, I think this just speaks to, the town's welcoming of all religion, race, color, creed, and sexual orientation. And, it's nice to be recognized. It's nice to be recognized, but it's being thanked for doing the right thing. We're going to support this regardless of whether we signed on with the mayors or not, but we appreciate the thank you from the American Jewish Committee. Okay, the next item on our agenda is to authorize a waiver of the $150 zoning board application fee in order for Heritage Hills to get a variance to bury propane tanks for the new generator to be installed at Heritage Hills Activity Center. Now, this is the Towns of Somers Emergency Shelter. And as Richards always points out, it's more than Somers. Northern Westchester actually uses this shelter as well. And that's per memo dated June 3rd from Tom Tuma, building inspector. And this waiver would also include any kind of environmental determination application fee. So if there's a groundwater overlay district fee or something like that. In other words, this is a town project in conjunction with Heritage, and we would waive the fees.
Rick, do we know when this generator's planned to go in? Do we have a date yet on that?
Well, it's been complicated. And as a matter of fact, I exchanged an email with Don Rubino from the Society, Heritage Hill Society today. Where are we? Why is this being delayed? Well, look, if no one has noticed, this has been a hell of a year. Our building department has been overwhelmed with just home sales alone. People go to sell their home, and when the buyer comes in and does their due diligence, they find out, oh, there's no CO for the addition you put on your house, the finished basement, the pool, the this, the that. So they've been inundated with that. But even with that, we paid special attention to this. So we sized it for a certain size generator. I think it was 110,000 watts or whatever. And Heritage wanted a bigger unit. So then it was a question of, we can't use taxpayer dollars to enhance, equipment that would serve someone else's needs. So what we decided to do was include 2 generators in the bid. So we'll get a price for the one that meets the town's needs and ones that would meet their needs. And we'll work out the difference, and Heritage could make up that difference. Then there was a discussion about 1 propane tank, 1,000 gallon tank, or 2 1,000 gallon tanks. So once again, the compromise was, let's put these all in a bid package. So today I got back to the building department with the okay to put all these items in the bid package. Patty should be receiving those specs either tomorrow or Monday, and then it goes out to bid. So Patty, I'll call upon you to tell Richard what's the time frame for something like that to go through that process.
Sorry, turn my camera off and didn't unmute myself.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to put that bid package in the newspaper, so I need a week. So if I get it tomorrow, actually it'll go Thursday. If I get it the following week, it's gonna go the following week. But once we get that out, we're gonna give it about a 2-week, maybe 2.5 week process to get bids back to us. And then we're gonna just keep moving forward. So it'd probably be on I hope your July 8th, but possibly not until the 5th, August 5th.
Mhm.
Yeah, my concern is only, I'm sure everybody's concern is common sense. Hurricane season, September, October. It would be good to have this all done by then. I don't know if it can be, but that would be a good goal.
Okay.
Is the existing
I do wanna make a
system's
point here
functional, right?
that the generator that is there does function. There are maintenance issues with it, but it does function. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, we're relocating that generator down to the highway department when we move it out of there.
Oh, good.
So, but if there's a, God forbid, a hurricane, blackout, whatever, tomorrow, that generator can operate that emergency shelter.
Well, my latest, it would be on our agenda, would be August. We can even approve it before it hits an agenda if
Yeah.
we all agree. And
Right,
maybe
with the
they could
bid-
do
with the
it in
bids, you know-
August and September, and it'll be up and running prior to our next September meeting.
That'd be great. Also, Rick, I did speak, just since you mentioned that, I did speak personally. I don't have an answer yet, but from Senator Harkam, Vidat Gashi, Kitley Koval, I've spoken to them about what aid, if any, can we get from the county and or the state, as well as our grant writers. Actually, on that park thing, I think we might be able to look for grants there to the grant writers too. There might be things like that because of public park in the center of town. There might be specific grants for that. So we should just check it.
Yeah, no, we can definitely give the grant writer a heads up. You know,
Yeah.
they
So
want to know about our needs, so we should
Right.
do that.
So we have the three amigos are going to come back and give us a thumbs up on that. I'm just kidding. Harkam and
yeah.
Kitley and
That one went
Gadash.
Yeah, right.
What?
right over my head.
Yeah, I know, right.
Yeah.
So
That
are they
wedding
are they
was
coming back?
too.
Are they going to come back, or whether they have an action, or what did they say?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
You're
I'm
waiting.
sure they'll let the town know, but I'm waiting.
Legislative session just ended today, so Assembly will probably finish up by tomorrow, so they've been a little busy.
So
Yeah.
let's,
Yeah,
let's-
hopefully there's some memorandum money in there, and maybe this will be a good thing. They can use this for some of that memorandum.
yeah, that's right. Very possibly. Well, yeah, Rich, appreciate you outreaching to those legislators and
No
yeah,
problem.
keep on them.
Yep. Will do.
Okay, so I'm looking for the authorization to waive the fees, the two fees, the zoning fee and the environmental determination fee. I'll make a motion to waive those fees. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, which brings us to number 5. As has been our practice over the years, because of like vacation schedules, kids out of school, I'd like to make a suggestion to combine July work session and regular meeting to July 8th, and then combine the August work session and regular meeting to August 5th. So if there's no objection to those changes, we will add those to the calendar.
We don't have any public hearings on it either of those months, do we?
Not to my knowledge, no.
I don't think so. Okay.
No, actually, we have 2 big ones on July 8th, but that is perfect. This schedule's perfect for us.
Oh, good. All right.
Okay. And then we have an add-on item for number 6, which is an update on the Somers Keep America Beautiful.
Yep.
Bill, I think you have some information for us.
I do, based on the presentation that we all saw last week, and I think that answered most of the questions, but if there are no additional follow-up questions, I'd like to make a motion that based on Roland's legal advice that we authorize the supervisor to fund up to including $1,800 for the town of Somers on behalf of the Somers Litter Task Force to join the Keep America Beautiful organization for all the reasons that we talked about last week. We will be the first and so far only town in Westchester to have such a recognition. I don't know why anybody would want to not keep Somers beautiful, but I'll open it up to any last questions before I forward that motion.
Okay, so I have one. So the discussion of what we asked you guys to get back to us with a recommendation. So it's the town of Somers that is
Yeah, the legal structure after conferring with Roland is that the town of Somers, on behalf of the Somers Litter Task Force, will be joining the Keep America Beautiful organization as
Okay.
an affiliate.
Understood. Thank you.
Mm.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. This is fantastic. So do get back to your litter task force and folks and give them the good news.
I will. They're going to be most appreciative. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, no, looking forward to it. Okay. Personnel, current vacancies, affordable housing, partners in prevention, upcoming vacancies on the Affordable Housing Board. I want to rescind the May 13th resolution authorizing the retirement of Sergeant Barker from the Somers Police Department effective June 9th and acknowledge the retirement of Sergeant Barker from the Somers Police Department effective July 2nd. Sergeant Barker has been with the police department for 33 and a half years. So we had I think they call it a police walk out.
Yep.
This is a ceremony where retiring police officers walk past the rank and file and other dignitaries and friends. And we did that with Richie, what was that, Wednesday?
Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday.
So I thought it was a very moving ceremony. And we had representation from the state police, North Salem Police, and town of Somers councilman, and myself. I presented Richie with a proclamation bestowing upon him the honorary title of lieutenant as he retires.
And county police as well, Rick.
Yeah,
Oh, county police
as
were
well.
there, yes, that's right. And it just showed great support for Richie. You know, he was not without a few words. So he addressed everybody, very grateful. And it was a really nice ceremony.
He's a good guy. He was a great police officer. He's going to be missed.
Sorely missed.
He said this was the best job he ever had. He really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And you could see that. You could see that when you talk to him. Okay,
So does he retire as sergeant or as lieutenant?
Sergeant.
Sergeant?
well,
Yeah.
yeah, he's got an honorary lieutenant
Okay.
title. So when he goes down south, he can make a T-shirt, retired lieutenant.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you get a different badge or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
He'll always be the Sarge. Come on.
yeah, I know. Okay, so item number 5, authorize the promotion of Ms. Christine Gersey from part-time availability to interim clerk to part-time intermediate clerk in the building department for a maximum of 17 hours per week at an hourly rate of $18 per memo dated June 1, 2021 from Tom Tuma, building inspector, effective June 11th, 2021. And then we want to authorize the hiring of Ms. Erin Logie as a part-time availability food service helper at an hourly rate of $15 per hour per memo from Barbara Tabor, Senior Nutrition Program Director, effective June 7th. Also authorize the hiring of Ms. Maria Ivanzik as part-time availability chauffeur for the Somers Senior Service Department at an hourly rate of $15 per memo June 4th from Barbara Tabor, Somers Nutrition Program Director, and that is effective June 7th as well. And then finally, authorize the hiring of Mr. George Goulart as a part-time availability chauffeur for the Somer Senior Service Department at an hourly rate of $15 per memo dated June 4th from Barbara Tabor, Program Director, effective June 7th, 2021. So what we're seeing here is our senior nutrition program getting back into full swing. We were down a number of chauffeurs, but with these hires, we'll be back up to full staff, and we can meet all our Meals on Wheels deliveries and getting seniors to their doctor appointments and shopping needs. Okay, so consensus agenda 1 through,
Excuse me, before we move on, can I get a second on personnel?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Okay, looking at the consensus agenda. Just want to call out again, accept with gratitude the $1,700 donation from the Somers Women's Club to provide scholarships for day camp participants per memo dated May 26th from Steve Ralston. So thank you to the Somers Women's Club. I'm sure those campers will be most appreciated.
I have a question on number 8, Rick.
Sure.
There are 2 expenditures there, both having to do, well, one having to do with recreation, the other from a building used by recreation. I'm still not clear. Those numbers, they're coming out of the one or both coming out of the general fund, or one or both coming out of the parks fund?
Yeah, I told you I'd get you an answer to that.
Oh, we got, Steve's here.
'Cause
still.
I did ask finance. He said, I'm not sure yet. So that's why. I
Steve,
was
do you
asking.
know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, they're both necessary. Just
Well,
want to know where the money's coming from.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I believe these are going to be parks and recreation funds, only because the building Van Tassel is under Steve's jurisdiction, and the Anglefly Preserve is also under Parks and Rec. And regardless of where the funds come from, these are 2 very important needs.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
We do need to look into that though, because I know there's very specific criteria for when parks funds can be used. Now, I don't know if this could be considered under the safety
Right.
issue or something like that, but I know you can't just use them for anything. So we
That's
definitely
true.
do
Right,
need
but
to.
you're right, and you're right. This would, if there is a caveat for park safety, putting a roof on a Fantastic house, I don't know if that would qualify. You're right. So that might be the general fund.
So we just we
testing-
might need to look into that.
Any opinion, Roland, on either of those, where the money is permissible to come from?
If it's a capital project, you can use the funds. If it's a repair, replacement, or maintenance, you cannot.
So
That
the
answers
roof,
that.
probably not.
It's basically it's the same as your house. Whether you can add, you can increase the cost of the basis of your home if you make capital improvements. But if you're just making repairs, then you can't add that to your basis. So it's the same with recreation funds.
How about the
So
testing
B-
of the condominiums for, I guess that's asbestos, right? I think they're testing for.
Asbestos, lead. If they start demolishing, they want to make sure,
Sure.
if it's asbestos, you got a whole nother way you have to handle it.
Is that a capital if we're taken down? Is that a capital?
It's odd, but I think it is. I think it qualifies as a capital project. You're removing structures. I assume that you're going to makes the Anglefly a better place.
Yes.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay, there's our
I
answer.
would think it qualifies.
So A can be rec fees and B would be general fund.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Rich.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to authorize. Wait a second. Accept the proposal.
John Mollahan.
Yeah, we'll authorize the hiring, of John Mollahan as senior seasonal office assistant at an hour rate of $14 per memo, May 26th, from Steve Ralston, Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, effective June 4th. But then I'm looking at the proposal for the town phone system. You know, we had those two presentations last week, and we're going to go with the Nextiva. And the number we didn't have on hand was the installation. So the installation of the phone system will be $3,000. And then there'll be a monthly fee of $1,102.75. And then on Sunday, as I mentioned earlier, is June 13th as Race Amity Day in the town of Somers. We declare that every year. And I will be presenting the group with a proclamation on Sunday. So with that, I'm going to make a motion to approve the consensus agenda 1 through 12.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So moved. Is there anyone on the phone, Tom, for public comment? Or Paul? Anyone?
No, nope, I don't have anybody over
No,
here.
nobody.
Okay, how about the chat? Anybody in chat?
No.
Okay. All right. So with that, I'm going to make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay. Our next meeting then will be July 8th, 7 p.m., at which time we'll be having public hearing on consolidation of the water districts, and then public hearing on the proposed revisions to the town's comprehensive plan, which was adopted February 11th, 2016, with regard to the creation of a multifamily residence 100 zoning district, town of Somers. That's the Highview Court project. So with that, do we have any announcements this evening, Patty?
Sure we do, and this is the most announcements I've had in months, so bear with me.
Okay.
It's June, LGBT plus Pride Month in the town of Somers. We want to proudly announce that we are supporting our Pride Month full-heartedly. There's going to be a household recycling day, and the Westchester County Shredder will be Saturday, June 12th at FDR Park. And that'll be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The 2020 primary elections is upon us. We're going to enter into early voting starting Saturday, June 12th. That will be from 5 a.m. to, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. So Saturdays and Sundays are 12 to 5. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are 8 to 4. And then Tuesday and Thursday will be noon to 8. So we'll be open for early voting for our primary season. Make Somers Beautiful, the Litter Task Force weekend. They're going to clean Route 118 this month, and that is going to be on June 26th from 9 a.m. to 12. There will be supplies available at the townhouse, and they're going to clean the whole length of 118. The 5th annual car show honoring VFW in memory of Louis DeMarco will be Sunday, June 27th at the Somers Intermediate School from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There's a registration fee if you have a car of $20. All proceeds will go to the VFW. And then the town of Somers is finally going to have our first blood drive in a while. It's going to be Tuesday, June 29th from 2 p.m. to 8 a.m. Oh, Lord. 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Somers Townhouse. Appointments can be made at the Blood Center by calling 1-800-933-2566 or by visiting blood.nybc.org/donors. Those are announcements. Our fun facts for today. So Pride Month, so on and so forth. Let's get some good ones. On this day, June 10th, 1963, President Kennedy signed in the Equality Pay Act into legislation, so that today is Equality Day and Pride Month is all about equality.
Here, here.
Very
So
good.
that was Equal Pay Act became law today, and this week in 1968, Robert Kennedy was assassinated. So
Ooh.
Sad.
that's where I'm leaving.
Always leaving us on a high note.
So we,
Well, they canceled the ACL baseball games because of Robert Kennedy's death. But I figured I'd hold that back because my baseball references are getting too much.
Always appreciated. Are you
yes,
kidding?
we enjoy them.
And I think it's
comment.
noteworthy. We should say the Yankees have won 2 in a row, and this season that is noteworthy.
That's right. They're on a streak.
That's a special.
That is a streak.
Fun fact.
Rich, I figured you'd pick me up with the 1692 first Salem witch was hung today. I figured that one. I saved that one for you.
Yes.
Rich was on the jury.
Yeah. You know what is really interesting historically, actually, since you mentioned it, that you found out whether people were guilty or not of being a witch through wonderful things like you put them in water, and if they sunk, then the water was accepting them because they were pure. But if it rejected it, means they were a witch. Sounds like either way, you're done. And only 90 years later, you have a constitution that is determining guilt or innocence, truth through due process of law, trial by jury, legal objections, appellate courts, so if things really change in those 90 years, it's really historically very interesting.
Yes. Well, and one other, this is just a fact, but this week was recognition of D-Day, which was
June 6th.
June 6th, 1944, the Allied invasion of Normandy. Giant operation.
Yeah, it's a dramatic day of the 20th century.
So on a closer note to home, since this is our last meeting of the month, we do want to congratulate all of our graduating seniors from Somers coming up. I think it's either the 22nd or 23rd that week. So we wish them luck in their future endeavors, be it college, the trades, the military, whatever they do. Good for them. It was a great car parade.
Yes.
Thank you very much to the Somers Police Force for helping with traffic and all that.
The fire department was part of
And the
that.
fire department who led it and had some cars, and I actually sat in front of the townhouse and got to watch it. It's always very interesting because if nothing else, you get to see what colleges all the kids are going to,
Yeah.
which is always interesting. They always have their college logos on the side. And just so everybody knows, next week there will be 2 more. There will be a combined 5th and 8th grade car parade, and then I believe there's a I don't know, it's been so long, I can't remember what year you graduated from Primrose, second grade. They're gonna have one as well. They've been starting at 7. It's been shortened a little bit. They start at IBM. They come out, go up 100, go around by the townhouse, go by the schools. The high school ended at the obviously in the high school parking lot. I'm not sure where these end. So just be aware that around 7 o'clock, you might get held up at the intersection in front of the townhouse for a little while the cars go through.
Right.
But it is a nice event. The kids and the parents always appreciate it.
You know,
And
it's-
that parade is to announce the arrival of Brenna Garrity at the high school, I think, isn't it?
I believe so. Yes, she will most likely be in the parade. I'm sure she's going to love that you mentioned her name, Rich. But
Oh, sorry.
I won't let her. No.
Well, you know, just.
Actually, you know what?
say-
Ann just said since it was you mentioning it is okay.
She is one of my favorites.
Well, it's just good to see everybody getting out and about in this waning COVID situation. I just happened to go out to dinner on Tuesday and it was packed. So people are getting out and starting to enjoy the good weather. And so everybody, have a good summer. It's starting.
And I'll tell you what else is going to be packed, Anthony. Your wedding or your daughter's wedding coming up in a little bit more than a week. So best of luck on that. Hope it's good weather. I think all of Somers is coming. So, make sure you got extra hors d'oeuvres.
Well, thank you, everybody. I think the next meeting, I can actually say that I will be a father-in-law.
There you go.
I think at the next meeting, I'll be complaining about all the traffic that's on my street that day, but that's all right.
I think we'll handle that.
All right, we'll be
And
fine.
hopefully I wouldn't get any calls from the town police about noise disturbance.
Yeah, I hope not.
Crazy Sirico's at it again.
Well, speaking of noise, have a great time and a safe time tomorrow night to all of those attending the senior prom.
Oh,
Ah,
It's local, so everybody, again, be aware.
where are they holding that, Bill?
It's going to be
Oh, at Primrose, right?
It's under the tent at Primrose.
Okay.
oh, interesting. Okay.
And
I'm sure
they'll
they'd
have
rather
the
be on a boat, but
They'll have the finest chaperone ever.
Oh, yes.
Who might that be?
I don't know, he'll be
Could
handsome in a
it be
blue
Michael Cleary by chance?
The athletic department.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
We'll
right.
be back after that.
That's right.
Happy birthday, America.
So, this is another year where we have to table our Independence Day celebration. But I'd like to float an idea out there that, we have in our budget our fireworks display. Possibly we can move back to Reese Park sometime in September and have an Independence fireworks display. I know we were kind of outgrowing the park, but I think if we can control the number of cars that come in, and we've done it in the past, and restrictions are lifted to the extent that, people can throw blankets out and, get
Great
back
idea.
to that hometown feel. I think it's a little too soon since we're still experiencing COVID deaths, but possibly September. So I'm going to begin talks with the Lions Club, see if they want to participate with, burgers and hot dogs and, just that old town feel that we did before we moved to the bigger venue.
Good idea.
I love it.
Good. Okay. Any other comments, concerns, issues?
No?
Hearing none. Happy 4th, everybody. And I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good night, Somers.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.